I was just about to leave for the cultural celebrations at National Park. There are lots of cultural events all over the place, but I said I might as well stay on to give this interview and communicate with the people of New York.
Well, we know we are very privileged to have you and talk about Emancipation Day and freedom and on the 1st of August and throughout the region, as a matter of fact, in Barbados, in Grenada, and throughout the Caribbean, Jamaica too, celebrating emancipation. So before we get into what you do in Guyana, and just reaching out because we have people from all around the region on Emancipation Day, what it means to our people with so much a history of struggle, a history of hard work, from slavery to indentured service, and going forward as we touch on from 1838, 1834, and then 1838. A little bit on emancipation, what it means to us as a people in the region.
Well, it means everything. It is that which makes us the Caribbean people, the Guyanese people, the Trinidadians, the fact that we managed through forbearance to gain freedom from slavery to begin with, then indentureship, and then from being colonial state. We managed our independence in the early 60s and late 60s, all the Caribbean islands. And so it is that which creates our identity, makes us the people we are. And so it is very important. We still have a lot of work to do, largely at the economic level, because our emancipation, in my view, have not come at that level 100%. We still depend on a lot for foreign aid, lots of monies that must fund projects here in Guyana. And so that emancipation at the economic level hasn't really come. But we have political independence. We have lots of the freedoms and liberties that every free human being that wants to live a dignified life must live. We have all of that. But to a large extent, we are still, sometimes as I like to say, hewers of wood and fetchers of water still. We have to get back, as was the project called by Mr. Granger and myself whilst on the campaign trail, to ensure that our resources are going to be exploited to the extent of having tertiary production and value-added products rather than simply sending our logs to China and sending our bauxite to America for processing and all the fancy jobs there. We should have them here in Guyana so that the next generation can be a proud and very, satisfied with their earning capacity and not wanting to leave these shores for greener pastures, as it were.
Well, we want to congratulate, first of all, your new administration, your government, the change in Guyana, and looking forward as we look forward for a better Guyana. Your president, Mr. Granger, talk about governing for all the people and betterment for the people. And as you rightly said, we got to set it up for future generation. As we work on that quest for truly freedom and true self-determination as we work together. Tell me some of the plans with the new administration moving forward.
Well, it's lots of plans, actually, to save the sugar industry, to rehabilitate the rice industry that is in real deep crisis as a result of the Petro-Carib deal going bad with Venezuela. And, of course, the relationship to the extent of the border controversy that we have with them, it has resulted in a number of great challenges that we now face, because there are lots of rice stored that was directed to Venezuela, but we now understand that they are not going to take that rice, so we have to find different markets. It has come at a very, very challenging time, as I said, but we have a plan there to get it to Portugal, to get it to Panama, to get it to Haiti. It might not be the best prices like the Venezuelans were giving, but that's a major plan to save that rice industry. It's in tremendous crisis right now, in my opinion, crisis which we could get over, as the president mentioned, and I think that is why he is indicating that it is not really in crisis. But the prices that we are going to get at those other markets are not going to be as big. I think we're going to get approximately $390 a bag, a ton, whereas the Venezuelans were giving us almost $700 US per ton. The plans to save the sugar industry is also on stream. As you know, we wanted a top-notch set of experts to deal with that sugar industry and to deliver to us a report as to whether it should be privatized, should continue to bail it out, because over 100,000 people in Guyana depend on that industry for a livelihood. And so to the extent then that we must do something about it, we have started a commission of inquiry headed by, I think, chaired by Mr. Parvatan and made up of experts like Clive Thomas and a number of other people, will soon come out with a report as to where we take that industry. In the meantime, we are going to support it so that the sugar workers do not fall on the wayside. In relation to matters security, well, there are lots of plans there too that I have. As you know, lots of plans depend on your finances. Mm-hmm. You have to have resources to ensure a quality, professional, modern police force. And a lot of the monies that ought to have come during the PPP days, like the security sector reform out of Britain, and also the Drug Enforcement Agency's institutionalization here in Guyana, were literally disbanded and discarded by the Rohi administration in Home Affairs. We are going to plead with those countries to get back on stream those resources so that we can professionalize our police force and modernize its equipment, its personnel, its paraphernalia, a better body armor for our policemen that are asked to run into the night to go save people when guns are firing. I mean, it is terrible the situation here, and that is why sometimes as policemen are telling me, Minister, we just can't run in the dark like that without proper body armor and so on. And that is why sometimes some of them don't even respond. And but also to get better quality forensic equipment so that we can catch the criminal, getting the what you call these fancy, the investigative crime scenes better, people better trained to determine what should be done at a crime scene, getting quality staff to detect where these criminals are coming from, understanding all of that. It requires a better quality recruit. We need some people, like in America, you have to have a first degree before you can join the New York or the federal police force. We just, without sometimes, I think just 3 subjects or less than that, can join. And, you know, we have to start people out there who are better quality. But of course, that means we have to increase their salaries too. And to the extent that we do not, we are going to have a huge problem.
Minister, Second Vice President and Minister of National Security, Attorney at Law, wearing many hats in Guyana, online with us right now. Honorable KHEMRAJ Ramjattan. And we're talking about your Ministry of National Security and how we can improve and what you're looking for, outside help from the United States and financing from elsewhere to help to upgrade your, department, your police department and your security in Guyana. Now, we realize, and everywhere crime is very much on the rise throughout the world. But in Guyana, do you think a lot of the crime stem from, people wanted a better way of living or something, or looking for a lot of the deportees from the United States coming back, like to Guyana and different places? Do you think that crime in Guyana right now is much more organized, so to speak, or high-tech crime? And for you to do policing, you have to, definitely like you indicated, you have to get better equipment. You need better personnel. What is being done, even on the local scene, to track, the highest crime rate? Or is it among the youths, among a lot of the deportees? How do you, first of all, you have to detect where the crime is escalating, and then you could counteract it?
Look, the information as to who are the actual criminals is very well known in Guyana. People know where the criminals are, but somehow the people do not want to come forward. We had a couple of crimes 2 or 3 days ago, And people did not want to come forward. You have to go plead with them, like a butcher buries a cattle farmer in a shallow grave. We have to get a lucky break, and then people start coming forward and saying, and now we have caught the butcher who did this murder. Man found with bullet wounds in Tocqueville. People saw him. They didn't want to talk. And the kind of a confidence in the police force wasn't there. People didn't have a comfort level giving information to the police. That's a big thing. And that is one of the things I want to counter as what happened in the past administration. The community must have confidence in the police force. So all the bullies and the rogue cops have to go. The last administration, as you know, had 2 policemen who burnt a vulnerable little child at Lenora, burnt his genitalia.
Wow.
The High Court ruled that child was tortured. And you know what the PPP administration ruled? He did? They promoted those 2 policemen. As soon as I became minister, immediately demanded that those 2 policemen be sacked. One was sacked because he was of a lesser rank. The other is not being sacked because the police service commission members are the only ones that can sack him. The police service commission members is now being made a law because they don't want to sack him. A policeman who a court of law, and the Attorney General, former Attorney General Anil Nandalal, is in all the newspapers and all the TV stations saying how Ramjattan is trying to interfere with a constitutional body. Well, that constitutional body was totally unconstitutional when it promoted a kind of a terrorist and a Taliban who burnt the genitalia of a young person.
Wow.
So I am blocked now because you can't knock this guy off. Now, you know what kind of culture that set in? That culture of the Anil Nandal and the Clement Rohi was to the extent that policemen can bully and burn people's genitalia. And that is what created in the community relationship with the police that they have no confidence in it. And so we have to try to get back that comfort zone. That's a big, big thing. Well, the other thing is that crimes are crimes of
just before you move on,
okay.
National Security Minister, we're talking to Honorable HON.KHEMRAJ Ramjattan. Now, I just want to interject just a little bit. I think a lot of people probably they fear for their lives. That's why they're not coming forth, and because maybe the criminals are so powerful that through fear they're not coming forth. And another thing is through fear or not feeling confident that the police department can protect them. That could be one of the reasons. But you will further clarify some of the reasons.
You're right. That is so true. People are not confident in that police force at this stage, and I'm trying to break that. I'm trying to elevate back the confidence level. That is the first thing as a leader you have to do, to let them feel confident in the police. Now, how are you going to make that happen? You can make that happen by ensuring that you are leading in the way of getting rid of rogue cops. Mm-hmm. You're leading in getting rid of the bullies at the police station. You're ensuring that all those who are discourteous to members of the public, you've got to teach them etiquette. And we are training them now how to talk, better public relations and all of that. It is very important that that be done. And then they will get back this confidence. And then they will see the policeman as somebody noble and honorable who they're going to give their information when they get it. And so that is how it's going to be done. But apart from that, which is going to be the little long term, because police, some of the bad ones are still going to be there. They're going to lie to you when you complain to them that, hey, members of the public are saying that you're bad. They're going to say, no, that is not true, Council. That is not true, Mr. Minister, and so on and so on. And I'm having that. But, we got technology now. And we can put on a little, a wire on somebody, go to the policeman, and if the policeman start asking for bribe and all that, we're going to catch them that way. And that is now what we got to do. We need some of the resources with these body cameras, as they call them, or body tape recording devices. Mm-hmm. So we're going to catch our policemen. And so when we catch them, then fine. But you've got to do something to get a better quality of policemen. And the last Discipline Services Commission report also indicated that we must balance the police force. And I'm pleading with my East Indian brethren and sisterin, join up. But they don't want to. But they will make the calls and cut you down and say, well, crime is on the upsurge. Well, please, crime is going to be on the upsurge if you also don't want to take care of the communities. And so we need to balance the police force. We need to do a number of things to get better recruits. People who are going to at least make the sacrifice. Oh, yes, over the years, we're going to definitely, this minister is definitely going to raise police salaries to make it so that a man could take care of his wife, a policeman, a woman could take care of her family and so on.
We want
to do better things. Yeah, we want to do better things for them to get house lots and to get better mortgages and their better facilities for medical expenses and so on to be looked after. All of that is in stream right now as we speak. But we also have a big project to modernize the police force in relation to a citizen security project out of the IDB, $15 million. And I am in the process of tweaking a program that was done under the PPP, which will give the priorities now to the new administration as to what it is that they want. We would like to see a command center, a big command center in which we'll have CTVs cameras all over Georgetown. And so we could know almost all the streets, what are going on. And on a TV screen that is as big as your wall, you can literally turn on that CCTV screen and know what's happening near to the bank, Republic Bank, the Merara Bank, this bank, whatever it is, which car is coming in, what's the number of the car, and so on. But it costs a lot of money, and the millions of US dollars it will cost. I am trying to persuade the citizen security people at the IDB to ensure that that is what we get. And we'll start in Georgetown. Then we'll move to Corriverton and the other areas with this kind of command center. So we could literally, in a command center, see the entire city. That is what we want to do. And that is what I am doing now.
Well, you know,
and I'm hoping that...
Go ahead. You're hoping?
Yes, we are hoping. And I think we are going to get there in a couple of months because I think they are very impressed with that kind of arrangement. Well, because they themselves believe that Guyana, the crimes are too much, and it is a useful idea to have a little command. Well, it's a big command center in which you can have eyes almost all around the city, the entire city, because the crimes in the city is about 50% of that in Guyana.
Well, that's where I was going. Statistics on crime and on ratio between current police protection or policing and the population. In certain concentrated density populated like Georgetown and big areas, what are the percentage of your police or police force and in terms of your population?
Well, the population in Guyana, half of it lives in Georgetown. You can say that. Region 4 got more than half of the population. If we are 800,000, approximately 300 and something live in and around the environments of Georgetown and Greater Georgetown. More than 400,000 probably live in Region 4. So Georgetown is where we have half the population, and we have most of the policemen centered in and around Georgetown, about 50% of the policemen in our police force. And that is the right proportionality. Mm-hmm. And Georgetown is a center of entertainment. Georgetown is a center of commercial activities and all of that. And so, yes, you have to get more police force, more patrol vehicles in and around Georgetown. And that's what we're doing. It is consistent with what the police tell me should be where the distribution of resources and the amount of it should be placed. And we are doing that. But, we are 2,000 policemen short.
Okay.
We are supposed to have approximately 6,000 and some more policemen. We only got about 4,000 and something. And so we are at least, I want 1,500 more policemen.
All right.
And we have the resources. The Minister of Finance has indicated, yes, why not, to have the full measure of the amount of policemen that you need for the country. But a lot of people do not want to join up, as I said, because of that salary. Mm-hmm. But look, they got a lot of people who do not have jobs.
Right.
And still they don't want to come forward. I mean, rice is in bad shape. There are lots of young Indian fellas around the area. They can't go and kick paddy on the road and so on. And you're begging them, please come and join. Plenty of them don't want to.
No.
But they're the first to call up and say, well, hey, police na come. Well, hey, our society's policing activities will depend largely on the people who wants to people the policing and the policing regime. And to that extent, then, we are but part of the problem. We haven't found oil yet to the extent of commercial production so that we can get rich and we can raise the salary of policemen. But the administration will do all it can to ensure that when better times come, the increases will come, because we really have bad salaries in almost every aspect of the matter, and we're going to do something about that. And we have a finance minister that's definitely going to do something about that. Plus, as I said, the IDB is now supportive of our modernization of the police force. We will hear about from them in a couple of months' time. And also, the president, Mr. Granger, has asked back the British for that £4 million support that Rohi had disbanded and discarded. And the British have indicated that although it was 5-6 years ago, the budgetary allocations for overseas development might not be prepared for that, but they're going to try to see if that could come. Because we could do well with another £4 million to get all the equipment and paraphernalia to get a confident police force. More patrol vehicles, faster cars, motorcycles, the whole gamut.
All right.
You understand?
So you have your work cut out for you in so much ways. Real fast, I know you're pressed for time, but I want to talk about in identifying crime. Like you said earlier, you know some of the areas or the pockets where a lot of the hair. But is it hardcore crime or murders and things, or is it petty crime? How do you differentiate from areas?
It is crimes of opportunity.
Okay.
It is amazing here to see a man go and take oil, kerosene oil, and trump on his mother-in-law and he trump on his wife's sister and kill both of them.
Wow.
Yes, and you read the paper, a butcher buries the cattle farmer in a shallow grave. The butcher owes the cattle farmer $200,000. The man comes for his money, and he killed the man, and he put him inside of the grave in the backyard. And then as people saw, they didn't want to talk, and then the police did some roughing up, and I understand they talk. And now we find the grave, we find the body in the grave, and now the man gone confess. And that is what is all the time happening. And in the country areas largely too, there's domestic violence. And it is coming largely because of rum drinking.
Wow.
Oh yes. About more than 50% of these crimes are being committed as a result of drinking sprees and this, a whole lot of them. Lots of also the traffic crimes. Mm-hmm. And that is why they're calling me Mr. Captain Curfew now, because I put on a curfew. You can't drink after 2 o'clock in any public
so
settings,
the
like
bars or nightclubs or whatever places.
That's correct. Yes.
At 2 o'clock, you put a. So they
That's
call
right.
it.
Yeah. And it is consistent with what you guys do in America.
Yes. Yes.
But when we do it here, we get cussed for it. Yeah. And when they go to America, all of them, as soon as the bar reaches 2 o'clock, they got to get their behinds out of it. But here, so they cussing me.
So
yes, yeah. But that is okay. Once you know, look, the good things to get your country secured will be the unpopular things.
All right.
It is always the case.
Now, I want to take...
If the minister do the good things, it will be unpopular. And we got to do it that way. But to answer your question, there are crimes of opportunity. Like 2 boys the other day in my street, just next door to my house here. It was in the press. They saw this fellow with chain and he probably dealing with money. They drove up. Opportunity comes their way. They snatch the bag and they're gone. Wow. We got to get also a new culture whereby Guyanese stop dealing with so much large cash transactions. But you know, the businessmen here, I understand, and that is what the Commissioner of Police is telling me. When you deal with cash transactions, you could avoid and evade taxes. They do not want to go plastic. And I'm begging them, please, let's go plastic. So that we don't have $5 million transacting in mid-street on a Saturday that is, you know, can create opportunities for the bandits.
Yeah, that's
all of it. Do it with checks or do it with the plastic. And we can do the automated card system, the credit card and all of that you got in America, because there are lots of firms that are coming in to do these things. But we don't have that culture. And why we don't have that culture, I am now understanding, is that a lot of the transaction of these people are going to be avoided and evaded from taxation if you still do the cash transaction. Now, we have to build that culture of people wanting to pay their taxes. Everybody wants better drainage and irrigation. Everybody wants better road. But when you go up, like the other day, they said they want firearm licenses, the fishermen. So the first question I asked, how many of you pay taxes now? And all of them were indicating to me that they just walk with plenty money and they need a firearm because they just walk with plenty money. So I asked them, how much taxes do they pay? Not a single one pay tax. None.
Well, you have your work cut out for you. I said it before.
They go to America and they will pay the tax the very first day. They will pay their taxes the very first day. But in Guyana, no. And they want. And who pay the taxes? Is the public servants, policemen, nurses, teachers. They're the ones that pay the taxes. But all of these, the fellas who repairing the motor cars, the mechanics, the fishermen, the rice farmers too.
Well, you have a whole revamp to do.
We got to do a lot of things because that's a crime too.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't want to say non-payment of taxes is not a crime. That's a big crime. In America, you don't pay your taxes, you go to jail.
Yes, indeed. So it's a whole revamping that you have to do. Not only the Minister of National Security, but cultural minister, the entire government will have to get the taxes, because without the taxes, as you know, vital services and protection, like this gentleman looking for firearms too, because he carry lots of cash, you could have better policing, better if you have the cash.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. And we don't have to go run to the Americans and the IDB. If we pay our taxes, we can do it ourselves.
Wow.
And we can increase the salaries of policemen. So a lot that is involved here is our own people are the perpetrators or the accessories before and after the fact by virtue of these what I call vicarious things that link them to the causes and the reasons. So it is important that the whole picture be understood. And we have to now transform this entire society into understanding the various roles that they have to play, each and every one of us. We have a duty to perform our role, each individual. And as a collective, we are going to do far better. And the other big thing that I must tell you is that and we have done a little study about it, it is more anecdotal, but it is being said all across. If them big minister is going to do criminal activity, what wrong with this? Big minister, 8 cars, she's gone thief. She got charged the other day. And then thief a whole set of other money, she might get another charge punch. And most of them too, like even the Anil Nandalal and them, talking how we going to take care of you. We got people who can take care of all you. Shoot down people. That is probably, that leads now to people finding comfort level that if ministers could be doing all of this nonsense, what's wrong with us to have this? So there's an ideological argument. The exemplars are not setting the example. We have to now stop that. That is why we came out with a parliamentary code of conduct. Not a parliamentary code of conduct, but we're going to put it in parliament. So parliamentarians and all public officers at high level, ministers and so on, they got to conduct themselves properly. So we can be the exemplars in society.
Second Vice President, Minister of National Security, Honorable HON.KHEMRAJ RAMJATTAN, talking to us here. And, the views and opinion are not the views and opinion of We Radio MGN Funding. Minister, that's some serious accusation, and we hope and we know we will hope that you can back up your statements, because this is some serious accusation here. Minister?
Oh, yes. Look, I am in a very fortunate position to know the thievery of the last PPP administration. And I will tell you that there are a nest of vipers, quite frankly. What they stole and what they took away, and they even right up to the gasoline. And whilst we had sworn in as government members what they were doing at the Guy Oil gas stations, all of these people, and even today, we ask all of the former people, bring in your diplomatic passports. Don't use them because you have lost the election. They're still using the diplomatic passports, breaching the law. They're not ministers anymore.
Minister of National Security, I want you to reach out for nationals and non-nationals and let them know that you're working on making Guyana a safe place to live and visit anytime. You're working on in your way of putting things together, but you have to work with all the different ministries to get people paying their taxes and really participating and being productive in terms of paying taxes and working together and building your Guyana a beautiful place for future generation as we move forward. And I thank you for the time, but I know you're pressed for time. But if you want to, anything else you want to emphasize or you want to, feel free to go ahead.
I want to thank We Radio for allowing me this opportunity to communicate the side that is important, and that is the side as to explaining why we are in the state where we are. And that's the very frank analysis of the situation. Yes, indeed, I will be the first to concede that there has been a spike in the crime, and we are trying our utmost best to get it down. But we are just like any other country. There are areas in Guyana where the crime is pretty high, yes. There you can go to some areas in New York you wouldn't want to go.
Right.
But there is, so it is being addressed. It is being addressed very aggressively, and that is why over the last 2 or 3 weeks we managed to bust a couple of gangs. But the important thing is to get policemen to have a comfort zone and the community to ensure that they could see in their policemen men of honor and noble beings so that they could go and give them the information and so on. It hasn't happened yet. It will take months. It might take years, but that is the way to go, and we are getting there. And I want to thank you very much for permitting me to say all that I have said. Thanks very much, and have a good Emancipation Day.
Yeah, just before you go, like Bob Marley said, we got to free ourselves from mental slavery. Chances are, none other but ourselves can free our mind. So, happy Emancipation Day for Guyana, although it's South America, we know geographically, but throughout the region, the Caribbean region, celebrating emancipation. Let's free ourselves from negative thinking and move forward and could work together. Is there a possibility where you have bipartisanship in Guyana where people of previous administration could work together for betterment in Guyana? Now you have Venezuela trying to take your oil away and different things, so you can work for a better Guyana. How that looks with this new administration?
Oh, we are supportive of that fully, 100%. As a matter of fact, our president and our prime minister, Moses Nagamutu, and Mr. Granger, both had indicated in their inaugural address at the parliamentary level that they want to embrace the opposition. But of course, that came with a resounding no. They said they will be constitutive of ensuring that they scrutinize the government. That is all right. That is fine. But whatever it is, like the new arrangements that we have for the GRDB and the rice sector and so on, we have named a lot of people who know the rice industry from the PVP side. And we are going to ensure that that continues. We want members of the opposition who are expert and got experience in certain sectors to come on board. And we expect them to support us in Parliament when indeed supporting us is the right thing to do. So thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
An open invitation for other members of your cabinet to join us here on We Radio. For all the people of Guyana, peace, prosperity, long live the Republic of Guyana. Thank you so much, Honorable HON.KHEMRAJ RAMJATTAN, Second Vice President, Minister of National Security, and Attorney at Law. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a blessed and productive day as we do it right here.